brought my water cup in here and didn't bother to take any water or get any water. Oh. Oh man, not doing too well. Been a bit of a rough afternoon. I'm actually kind of worried about myself right now. Did I not finish? Okay. Oh man, I'm feeling bizarre. I'm having a hard time focusing. That's not good. What do I want to do? Follow Teo's trail. Gloomhound pilgrimage. Do I even know where Teo is? I guess we'll go this way. So I'm actually kind of grateful to my doctor. Like, she asked me to stop taking all my supplements because, you know, I must admit I do get kind of carried away, right? Like, I've been really sick for about the last 6 years, just uncontrollably sick. So obviously, like, supplements can have side effects, dizziness, you know, disorientation a little bit, digestive, you know, discomforts and etc. Right? So, I thought I was aware of all the side effects that I was going to be, that I had and that I was going to be going through and all that fun stuff. And so I took myself all the supplements. You know, I kind of listened. You know, I'm trying to be a good patient. You know, instead of just thinking I know what's best. Oh, my inventory's full. I gotta go empty my inventory. I didn't even realize. So I feel like I'm pretty attuned to my body for the most part, and that I know how it makes me feel and etc. And so I slowly started adding that back in as my body started imploding because they weren't there, and I added back in the vitamin C. So I don't, you know, vitamin C was, my legs would tingle on a regular basis like they were dipped in fuzz. And it would be from like basically the knees down. And so it turns out that vitamin C would help some of that. You know, it would help. And then I took I've been taking the vitamin C, and what else did I take? There's something called DGL, which helps kind of coat the stomach because I have acid reflux and my intestinal lining is a little bit weak. So the stomach acid burns my stomach and things like that, especially when I eat trigger foods, you know, like fat and things that ramp up my, like as an example, pickles, apple cider vinegar, you know, things that ramp up my acids. So I have to stay away from those things. Coffee. Oh, right, and I don't have a chest, so I got to make a chest. So let's do that first. Make 2. So I take myself off a bit. My muscles start going rigid. I start having bowel issues. I start having like being inability to go to the bathroom. I start having all these pelvic floor issues, you know, and I just feel everything kind of clamping down on me and tightening up. I'm unable to relax, you know, regardless of what I do. And I thought to myself, well, you know, geez, why am I having these issues? You know, so I start adding things back in. And I find out that, well, the magnesium is helping with the muscle relaxation, you know, and it's not really causing, so it didn't cause any issues to add the magnesium back into my diet, minus some recently some digestive discomfort, right? So I was pretty happy with that. The fact that I was able to make that change and get back into that and help relax my muscles, because it was getting to the point where I'll have to start taking medicine. Like they gave me a rectal Valium to put up my butt to relax the muscles because they just spasm so much that I can't go to the bathroom. And it has all these side effects. Plus I have rectal hypersensitivity, so it's not like I can do it for any length of time without it causing like negative side effects. Like it just kind of melts me down. And so I added the magnesium back in, I added the vitamin C back in, and it felt like I was getting some, some reasonable, like, safe, positive changes. Well, so then it's like I started freaking out because it wasn't enough to help me to start being regular again. And I was feeling a lot of pressure and pain and just generalized discomfort. And so then I ended up, well, okay, let's go ahead and bring back in the L-glutamine, which is for muscle recovery and, helps with IBS. It also helps with, like, if you got a weakened stomach lining and this kind of thing. So it helps repair the stomach lining so that like if you have leaky gut, which is where your stomach lining becomes too permeable, and allergens, proteins, pathogenic bacteria, things start leaching into your blood that shouldn't be there, because it's able to pass that epithelia barrier between your intestines and your blood, because there's holes. There's things like what's called a tight junction. It's almost like a fence link, right? So this fence link weakens and it starts opening these holes in the fence bigger and bigger and bigger, so these larger particles are able to get into your blood and cause toxic effects, and they'll deposit in around your body, maybe causing inflammation, causing immune responses. So people that have autoimmune diseases, things like that, like it's a very good possibility that this could be tied to autoimmune diseases. And so I start adding back in the L-glutamine because it's supposed to help with these recovery issues and also help with discomfort and healing. So I add in what's called a collagen peptide, because I don't eat a lot of collagen, because it's typically wrapped in like cartilage and meat. So as an example, like bones, like the knee joints where there's cartilage. So there's meats that you can eat, or you can create what's called bone broth soup, but I can't create the bone broth soup because of the fat content in the gelatin or gelatin inside the bone broth, because it breaks the cartilage down, it breaks the bone down, it breaks all these nutrients down into this broth, and then you put it in the fridge and you let it cool, and you take the fat off, because it basically is just this big glop of fat on the top of the container that you put in the fridge. And but the problem is with gelatin or gelatin is that it stimulates acid production in the stomach, so I wasn't able to take it because it would trigger acid reflux for me, because it would increase my acid, my body would freak out, and then next thing you know, I'm miserable, or at least more miserable than what I normally would be. So I couldn't take it, and I can't get a lot of collagen into my body. Well, one of the some of the side effects is bloating and generalized discomfort. I don't remember a lot of them, but more specifically, the one I'm focusing on is L-glutamine. Like it can actually cause neurodegenerative issues. I believe, especially with people that are having neurotransmission issues already. So I've already got issues, because my extremities are tingling severely. And then on top of that, I think it gave me a headache, and then it got me so bloated that I'm like basically a rock. And I actually look like I'm 9 months pregnant and look like I'm going to tear open. And I feel like it, right? I feel utterly miserable. And then, so I added them back in thinking, okay, well, I'm doing myself a favor, and my legs weren't bothering me, and then I took a shower or a bath, and then now it's like all of a sudden my legs are freaking out. Like I'm having a hard time focusing. Like I feel like garbage, and my legs are tingling when they weren't tingling before. So it's like I start looking this stuff up, and apparently the side effects to the L-glutamine and potentially the collagen peptide, the jury's still out. Like, because I took them together, which I shouldn't have done. I should have taken them one at a time, but I didn't. because I was panicking, and I didn't want to continue down this road that I've experienced in the past. Oh, I need the hides. I got to give them to Hassan. So I learned that one of these elements, and I'm willing to bet it's the L-glutamine, because L-glutamine, there's a rare condition where like the L-glutamine can pass the blood, well, it actually passes the blood-brain barrier. I want to say on certain individuals, but from what I was reading on Gemini AI is that I believe it just passes the blood-brain barrier because of the type of amino acid it is, or something like that. However it works, but it passes the blood-brain barrier, and that's potentially why people get headaches when they take it. So I'm kind of glad that I learned this, because I'm not going to take it. And I was having some side effects, and I couldn't figure out why they were there the way they were. And so I guess in being a good patient, I learned something new about what I was going through, right? Because I probably wouldn't have stopped taking the supplement L-glutamine, or for that matter, collagen peptide, without doing this. So I think I'm going to add it into my routine, like once every couple of months or something. I'm going to just take myself off all my supplements and start from scratch, and just learn if I'm, causing myself any harm. Because the reality is like over time, if I start to heal, I would imagine when I take myself off of everything, it'll just, I won't have the need to add them back in. I feel like I should move that up a little. So I can't, though. Well, how do I turn it on? Maybe that's too high. So I guess in that regard, I'm feeling blessed. And I'm trying to have a mental status change about the way that I think about the world. Or at least my small world. Maybe I don't know. It feels like it a little off. I don't know. I leave it there, but I don't know that I like it there. So, because, I miss sitting at my computer and not feeling like getting really frustrated with my computer. Like, it's not playing the audio because the audio starts wigging out on a regular basis. Like, as an example, well, the speaker audio is actually there, so I wonder why I can't hear the audio. Oh, it's probably because of something in OBS. No? So why isn't it picking up on the audio from the game? Maybe is the game audio turned off? I can't. No, it's not. I get it now. Okay, so here, so as an example, like the reason I think what's going on is when I talk, I have it so that it turns or dials back the audio in the game, so that the game audio doesn't interfere with my voice. So I think that's what happened. My mind isn't running clear right now, so I'm kind of like I'm kind of beside myself, and I can't figure things out very quickly. It's like I just walked into the house, but I don't know why I'm in the house. Ooh, that's a good idea. And I think I have this hydro grow stuff. that I can put as a soil amendment on the ground.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, like, I don't want to take anything. I would prefer not to take any supplements to help myself. But I realize that by doing that mindset, I'm more than likely to hurt myself more than help myself. Yes, that's what I meant to say. Where's my hydro grow? I thought I had a. Oh, here it is. Harvest Boost Fertilizer. So it's not hydro grow. It's maybe. Is there a thing for like farming? Gatherables, fish, equipment, crops. Here we go. Here it is. Hydro fertilizer. Yay. Oh man. Can you put 2 soil amendments down at the same time?
Yeah, anything that can fucking hurt you is a weapon.
Did it put it down? I can't tell. Yep, it must have. Oh, okay. So like the ground is covered up. So I gotta re-hoe it. Why is the audio so quiet? It is so high. Oh, see, the audio's gone again. Yeah, I think maybe I'll just, I don't know, like I'm really beside myself. I don't know if I should buy a new motherboard or a new sound card. Because if I buy a sound card, I can get one of those for like 50 bucks. Like I don't really need to replace my motherboard per se, even though the motherboard is damaged. The reality is I got pissed off one day and I pushed my computer and it hit my subwoofer that I have behind it, and it broke my audio jack in my computer. You know, so I don't always have the best temperament, but you know, I'm doing the best I can to change, right? Like that's all we can do as humans. You know, we're not perfect beings, that's for sure. I've learned that much, and so I just do the best I can and work with it. You know, because I think I'm a good person. I have the desire to grow and change, you know, because I don't want to be stuck at the same old person all my life. That's for sure. That's no fun. You know, you don't learn anything there, and you don't... The reality is I'm finding, like, I'm tired of... I've been on the negative side of things in life, and I don't enjoy it. It doesn't feel rewarding. You know, because I don't seem to get what I want anyway. So I'm trying to be more, fluid. I want to be more fluid. I don't want to be so narrow-minded and limited, you know, and captive to my emotions. I would like to be able to be, I guess... Oh, that's cool. They have different animations for each fertilizer amendment. Sweet! Ah, dope. I like it. Awesome. It's time to... And look at that. I was even smart enough to buy him in rows of 3. Ah. Tomatoes. Yeah, I was just helping Easy today do some gardening. Went over to Easy's house and chilled out and watered some plants and kind of, you know, fun just hanging out. I ended up getting super overly excited and got kind of overwhelmed. I I have social anxiety. I wouldn't necessarily call it necessarily a disorder. I don't think I'm that far, fortunately for me. But I do definitely have social anxiety. At times I don't know what people might expect of me. You know what I mean? And I don't know that I can necessarily fulfill what they might expect of me either. And I'm it overwhelms me, right? You know, and then I get tired and I get overworked and then I get stressed out and like it becomes a whole thing. So like socializing is difficult for me for any length of time. You know, the reality is I've spent the majority of my life without friends. I had a friend for about 30 years, and I recently stopped being his friend, mainly because he never made time for me. You know, I was like, hey, dude, let's get together and hang out. Let's get together and hang out. And his whole shtick was, well, I don't think I can do that, and don't get angry because, you know, I have a temperament, right? Like, and, you know, but it's not that I got per se, I don't know. The problem is, I guess, like my wife was telling me today, uh, I guess I'm too pushy. You know, like I speak my piece, but then I keep speaking my piece. You know, and that's not good. You can't keep pushing on people and expecting, because it's like I don't know. I've been a fixer all my life. You know, I've fixed people's computers all my life.
She
So
was close to top of my head.
um, I feel like I see things relatively clearly. Um, but it throws me off when,
Okay.
because I feel like I can see ahead to what's going on and what they're talking about, and what I feel like would probably be best beneficial for them. And obviously it's their life, right? Like I have no right to impose, but I think because I love them, I get overly excited, or I guess I get overly pushy, I guess. And I don't realize that I'm doing it, right? Because I'm like, well, you know, like we could really just avoid all of that and just do this, you know what I mean? And you know, kind of cut the corner here
I
and,
think
and
I
not have to worry about
scared
it.
some sense into one of my XY because
But
I was just being him the whole time and then realized
I'm learning, you know,
that
I'm
he
learning
changes
not to be
things
that
when trying to tell
person.
me
I really
how
do
to
want to grow, so it's like you got to accept it when people say things to you and change. And I've always believed that if you love somebody, you'll change for them because, you know, you love them and you want them to be happy.
I just needed to
So
know
I
how
want
I
to put
was
my, I guess my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and just be a supportive person. You know, it's hard for me on some levels because I see that where people like my like as an example, when I see people not taking care of themselves or their health or anything like that in my life, and I've done ridiculous amounts of research to help people, help myself, right? Like, so I've learned a lot, and they don't see that, and then okay, and then they'll do their own thing, and it's like, what? Like, you know, you got all this stuff over here that you got to be worried about, you know, like don't eat just candy. You know, you're gonna hurt yourself. You know, but I guess I get scared for them. You know, I mean, I'm scared for myself, but I'm also scared for them, and I don't want to see them get hurt, but
where I
So what is weed prevention? Like, I mean, I get it. It looks like it says weed prevention harvest boost. Is that a part, like, one unit?
Let's see what they're training to the test.
Or is it because I put both soil amendments, harvest boost fertilizer, fertilizers that increase the number of crops gained per harvest, fertilizer that retains water in soil, preventing the need to water the next day, or what, in a few minutes? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like you got to water quite regularly. And it looks like this one is no longer. Nope, I put the wrong one down. But no, why? It's like the amendments are going away really quickly. That's odd. Like, I thought they stuck around for a little bit. You know, but I don't wanna be that person. You know, I wanna grow, and I wanna find my own place in Zen. I don't understand. I already got a okay, so I already got a standard pickaxe. No. Blacksmithing tools, no. Here we go. Standard bow ready to craft. So we just upgraded the bow. I got my fine rod, standard axe. So I think I'm at the highest level that I can be right now with my tools. So it's just a matter of getting out there and doing stuff and upping my skills. All right, so I can leave those to do their thing, you know, and then I can worry about the quest line. I almost feel like I should grab one of these chests. Or, oh, wait. Yeah. I think I got a chest over in my inventory, maybe? Question mark? What did I do with the other chest? I built one. I'm getting really hungry. That's crazy. Like, I thought I ate already. It's not in here, is it? No. I thought I built two. Oh. Here we go. There it is. Place. Let's put it over here. And we'll put all of our soil amendments and everything in it. Oh, so it still connects to the hole. All right. I guess that's fine. That's fine. I thought that it was proximity based. Maybe it's plot based. You know, anything on your plot as far as your chests. So like if I ever get to the point where I can't hang out because I'm not feeling well, or you know, I'm dealing with my social anxiety, please don't take it personal. It's not that. And if I have a problem with anything you do, I'll let you know. You know, I can't keep my mouth shut apparently, so, but I will do my best to be considerate of your feelings if I bring it up. You know, because I don't want to hurt anybody. That's not my goal. I don't like hurting people, and it seems like inadvertently I do it more than I would like to. Which is to say I don't like to do it at all, but it happens, right? Like I guess apparently my personality rubs people the wrong way. Which is probably why I'm alone most of the time. My dad did a really wonderful job, you know what I mean? He kind of stripped away my social skills when I moved over to live with him. You know, and it's like I talk crappy about him, but the reality is he really tried his best. It just sucks that he wasn't more mature himself. You know what I mean? And wasn't more capable of helping me as his son. But you know, the reality is, like for my son, I don't know. Everybody has their own parenting method, but I remember when I was younger and I didn't have a lot of oversight because I spent a lot of time by myself because my mom was an alcoholic and she was dealing with her own struggles. She's no longer an alcoholic and whatnot, but she deals with her own struggles, right? And that was how she grew up dealing with it. And unfortunately, the what do they call that? The collateral damage was me. You know, she wasn't there a lot. She'll argue that she was there, but you know, the thing is, I don't remember her being there. What I remember is the long nights where I had to go find her on my bicycle at the bar when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, maybe even 8. You know, basically it started, you know, like when I rode my bike up there, probably around 6 or 7, and it went all the way until like when I moved over to my dad's house at 11. You know, I'd have to chase her down from bar to bar. I can remember holding her hair back when she was puking in the toilet, and I'm like, and then she would go back up to the bar after she came home and puked her brains out, you know, and you're just going like, why, mom, stay home with me? I need you. You know, I just, you know, it was really scary being alone. Like, well, you know, your cousin's just across the street and blah, 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 if you need them. And it's like, that's not the same. It's not the same. She told me a story once where she caught my cousin bouncing my head off the cement like a basketball. You know, he would pick on me. It was just a thing. Um, I'm trying to figure out what am I doing. I was putting my soil amendment away. That's why I put the chest here. I'd almost wonder if you can purposefully separate a chest. Like if I didn't want it to be a part of the global chest. Because that I could see that being a thing. Like if you wanted to isolate certain ingredients in certain places, that seems very much a thing that would happen, or you would want to happen. But I grew up, you know. Okay, so like well, I don't know how about for you, but like when I grew up and I was alone a lot, my life was out of control. It was very much out of control, and I needed control, you know, to help deal with my irrational fear. So I became the leader of my friend group. I was over controlling with my friends. Probably why I don't have any friends now. And then I was also controlling. Oh, I can do another one. Cool. I was over controlling. Apparently with my family, you know, and I have a hard time relinquishing control because the reality is the people that I was supposed to be able to trust to take care of me weren't doing what I needed. Like you know, children have needs, and if they're not met, they're gonna end up getting hurt. And I just was unfortunately I got hurt a lot, and it was like I would spend long blocks of time in what would become an irrational terror or fear of terror. So it negatively impacted me and created a lot of mental illness for me. You know, and it's hard for me to relinquish control, especially now when I'm sick and I'm so vulnerable. Like I was I had realized like when my wife goes to sleep, I start to have, and it's not every night, but pretty frequent that I'll have night terrors where I'll just be in a sense of terror for hours and hours and hours on end. And then I was thinking like, well, gee, you know, why is that happening? And then I remembered as a child, I spent large blocks of time feeling that way because my life was out of my control and I was afraid for my life a lot. And with my physical illnesses or diseases, I don't know what you want to call them, but you know, my body being so screwed up, like there's nobody can really reassure me that everything's going to be okay because you don't know. And I mean, they can try and tell me that it's like my diseases aren't terminal, but even that's not true because they don't really know everything that's going on with me and they don't know how everything's impacting me. So it's like I have a hard time taking reassurance when everybody tells me it'll be okay. So I feel alone a lot. And because of that, and I have a hard time making deep connections with people because of the trust issues that were developed when I was a child, where my mom wasn't there for me. My dad didn't even think I was his when he told my mom at 2 years, like, I don't even know if he's mine. And he didn't come around a lot. And I can remember like when I was younger wanting to hang out with him, and then he would break plans, and I'd be bawling because I was expecting him to come over and he didn't come over, and you know, and just really horrible things, you know, and I Hey, I need 5 more cool ratings on my what? My plot.
You put in the
If any of
bush.
y'all don't mind,
Yeah.
can visit my plot. Thank you so much. What are cool ratings? Or what do they do for you? Like, I mean, I don't understand like the plot cool ratings and stuff. What am I doing? I got a lot of inventory stuff. I still haven't dumped off. Oh well, this is I think food. Well, I mean this is kind of like not it, but you know, and don't get me wrong. Like I'm not trying to bash my mom, and I'm not trying to bash my dad or anything like that. And I love them very much. I just you know, it's a part of my story, right? And I have the right to tell my story. And my intention isn't to hurt them in any way. If anything, it's to share so that maybe someone else doesn't get hurt like I did. Wow, he took the whole thing. It was I got the new bow and I got the standard arrows, and it didn't kill him. It must be because I'm in Bahari Bay. Don't go. Stay. Oh, I missed him. I flinched at the last second. There we go. Did I get him? I think I got him. Yup, one more time. Bimbo. Right next to each other, too. Save me from having to go and collect them, that's for sure. You know, I've always thought that I wanted to be somebody that's capable of growing and changing. You know, that I'm not stuck being the same person I was, you know, in the past. And the past is relative, right? Like, every second is in the past, it's in the past. But, like, I'm talking just in general. Like, I want to evolve. I want to find my peace in life that I can't seem to find. And Sweet Leaf. And it's important to me to do that, you know, and that requires me to change and to have deep thoughts about my position in people's lives and how what I do affects other people and how do I tail. Oh! Tell me I can put a honey hive in there, man. Tell me I can do that. Like I can do honey hiving. Honeycomb, honeycomb. Give me a honeycomb, please. Yeah, I got honey. Or a pine cone. No, there it is. I got one honey. I want to do beehives. I want to do beehives. I hope they have beehives. Or at least at some point they come up with beehives. I think that would be really cool. You know, and it's not always easy to share these stories, you know, about my life. But I'm an open book, more or less. You know, I've made mistakes, and I want to grow from them. Wow, right across his nose, completely missed him. He went underground. Oh, I thought for sure he was going to keep running to the right. I got 17 arrows out of 40 now, mind you. Where did he go? So you would think that he's on this plateau, but I don't see it. But, you know, I think sharing my life also opens me up to being judged, you know, about who I am and what I am and how I respond to things and how I treat people. And I think the reality is that I'm okay with the fact that I've made mistakes, because you're the one that has to live with your mistakes. most of the time, unless, you know what I mean, you do something real stupid and hurt somebody, like, you know, you run over someone with your car because, you know what I mean, you were drinking or something. But or in a case that happened down the street here, somebody got shot and was in critical condition because of a fight that broke out, and you know, now that person has to live with bullet holes, you know, and now they didn't die apparently, so that's good, and they're going to have scars emotionally and physically from that experience, and that's a real shame. You know, it's unfortunate that we have such a difficult time resolving our feelings with each other without hurting each other. And to do the ultimate deed of taking someone's life just seems... It's not only a punishment for the person that dies, but it's also a punishment for the person that does the killing. You can't tell me that it doesn't change you, and you can't tell me that it doesn't hurt you. You know, it's definitely gonna mess you up, no matter what side of the fence you're on. Two arrows. Can I take them out in 2 arrows? I like the fact that they have the tracking concept here. What I think they could do that would make it a little bit cooler... Oh, is it the one? Is it the one? Yeah, it's the one. Okay, so I just gotta... I can't miss. It's like, do you got the stones to sink a putt when you have to?
I didn't wind it up too long.
I don't know. I think we over-sensationalize violence to a large degree. Like, everything we play on games now is wrapped around violence, and it really... It's very sad. Like, if I was to ever create a gaming company, my company would focus on creating games that are peaceful and enjoyable. Oh, look at that! I actually created a quality item, a quality meat item. Wow, 100 focus for those. What were they, mushrooms? So my hunting's going up. I'm up to level 4. I don't know. Like, I guess, like, I always wanted to be a multimillionaire, right? Like, I would prefer to not be able to see server chat. Like, that would be kind of cool. Like, I don't really always want to see server chat. How do I... Blink, blink, blink. Like, why wouldn't it just leave it off? Like, I unclicked it before. I don't know why it wouldn't just leave it off. Because I don't like the fact that it keeps popping up and I keep getting notifications. Now, I think at some time, like with this game specifically, this is the nicest group of people I think I've ever met on a game. Like, everybody's like, thank you so very much. And like, it seems like they're fostering the game around positive interactions, and I really, really appreciate that.
It's how the chambers work.
So, what was I saying?
Unless
like, I always wanted to be a multimillionaire, right? And I had built my computer business, and I was working towards that goal before I got really sick, and I couldn't do that anymore. And, being a multimillionaire was something I always strived for. Like, I was up to almost 100,000 a year before I got sick. And I was hiring my own employees, and, like, things were moving along. And I hated being a boss, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I think what I wanted is the financial freedom that came with not having to worry about money, which I've never had to do for the most part. I've never been able to do. And, but beyond that, I always wanted to have influence and help guiding humanity before my time was up. And I think that's why when I was a kid I always prayed for wisdom. When I was heavily deep into Christianity, I always prayed for wisdom. Like, it seemed like it meant so much to me when I was a kid to have wisdom. And I always wanted to, like you look at Elon Musk, you look at like all these top people, and they're actually shaping society. And and like, society won't be the same because they were here. Like, they're actually guiding humanity, or defining the direction where humanity is going. Like, Elon wants to go to Mars. He's probably going to be the first person to get people to Mars. That's amazing. In all of history, human history, he has guided humanity to Mars, and other things too. With AI and robots and self-driving cars, and like, he's shaping and guiding humanity. And for some reason, that seems very cool to me to be able to do that. But I think it's an awesome responsibility too. Like, you can't just arbitrarily do things without thinking them through, because if you're at that level, you're going to hurt a lot of people. But I always thought that I wanted to make an impression and help guide humanity towards something, right? Towards moving in a direction that shapes history and humanity. And I think that's what I wanted to be a part of. And I guess it saddens me that I won't be able to do that, I don't think. Because the way that I think I would like to shape humanity is to help bring us closer to each other. Because the way that I see it, and right now, is that we're getting further apart. Humanity is getting further apart, despite the fact that we're closer together by all the technology, our ability to communicate with each other. We're actually closer together in that way, but we're further apart where I think it matters. We got more road rage, more shootings, more killings, more, like, just violence and other things that just don't really need to be there. And other people may have different views, but I honestly think that humanity is it's hitching itself to the capitalistic wagon, has really been like, I think capitalism has its place in humanity, but I think we need to outgrow it if we really want to move forward as humans, and move into a societal norm where being there for each other, growing together, supporting each other, making sure that people's needs are met, and trying to help them foster beautiful lives without the driving force of greed.
Meanwhile, me just
Because
sitting like a
what is money? Money
statue of
perpetuates
15.
greed. I believe money is a symbolism for greed.
I
While it can do a lot of wonderful things, think about it: if humanity focused as a whole to do good things, it would far outweigh any kind of money. Like, how many people die every minute, across the world, in third world countries, and in the US, and other places, because of money? Whether it be like they want to take your money, or they want to
and sometimes
um,
assassin with
fight
myself.
wars over oil and all this other stuff. It's like, it's all
I
this
think that's the reason
greed.
why I got so
I
mad.
would like to figure out, like Gandhi.
Because
He was shaping
besides the pain
humanity
and numbing
towards
effects,
love,
it
and
was not even that good.
kindness and empathy and respect, and those kinds of attributes.
I
And I
could
think
listen to
if I
a
can be a
recording
part of that
maybe once.
bubble, even if I shape it in a small way, it will remove, hopefully, or at least crowd out, because it's like, light, like, darkness doesn't, it's darkness can't be there in the presence of light, because light cancels out darkness. So it's like, if goodwill and good intention, if you want to think of it as light, so to speak, and negative impulses are darkness, I believe the best way to, say, remove the darkness is to do the good deeds, because then you're removing that negative implication in reality, and you're getting it away from, and or getting rid of it, or it goes away. So I think that's the kind of stuff that I would like to be involved in. Help people with their health, or help people, move into a happier place of existence, because I've suffered a lot in my life. like a lot. It's been very, very painful. And I've learned a lot. And I think my wisdom would help a lot of people. It's just, I'm still growing myself, right? I haven't figured it all out yet. And I don't know that I ever will. I think it's just a journey. But it would be nice to foster those kinds of aspects of humanity, I think, rather than perpetuating negativity and anger and road rage and everything else. Because it scares me, man. Because like we're heading that way really fast, and we're racing to it, and I don't know why. You know what I mean? It's like everybody seems to hate everybody, and everybody wants to hurt everybody, and it's like why? Why can't we take a beat and try not to do that and be good to each other? How do I like to start my mornings? Oddly enough, I have a bowl of oatmeal and play Palia
Not just
a
barely.
little bit while I can, because I'm my best times for energy and stuff are in the mornings. I always like to start mine with writing a letter to a friend. We are friends, right? My wife says I can be a bit clingy with new folks, so I don't want to overstep. Anyway, I had a little farming secret I wanted to share with a friend, and that's you, right? Question mark. Anywho, I've got a recipe for a new water can to sell you. So I must have leveled up. Here's a little something as thanks for your continued patronage, pal. Come spend it all on in one place, mine. I don't really know what these coins do. It's a lucky coin. Use at Zeke's machine to get an unexpected reward. Okay. You know, in shaping humanity, like as an example, like with Palia, they're shaping humanity in a positive way. Because this game, from what I understand, as far as I've been into it and as deep as I've gotten into it, it's a very chill and relaxing game. It's a very peaceful, well thought out and positive game, helping to pull people out of those or give people an option that don't want to be in the combat scenarios anymore. I've spent 30 years playing combat games, and I know I don't enjoy them anymore. They don't give me any happiness. I think my audio went out again. I may just have to buy a new motherboard. I don't want to do that. It's expensive. Because the video card I'm looking at is like almost nine. Well, it's probably going to be close to $1,000 by the time I get done with it. You know, done buying it, and that's because of all the tariffs. You know, it went up like 100%. The price of the video card is probably going to go up almost 100%. So that's unfortunate because it's not the first or the latest generation of video cards either. I think it's the RTX 4070 Super. But the thing I want for it is the rendering, the stream rendering capabilities. It's got a new generation renderer, so it'll compress the data stream, so you don't need as much, and it increases the visual quality. So like what you see right now in the game will improve, and I won't have to worry about my bit rate, having to increase my bit rate to get the additional clarity. I don't know. I guess it is what it is. I made arrows already. A repair kit. So I'm gonna have to craft a repair kit. I'm confused. How do you use a repair kit? Do I drag it on top of it? No. I don't understand. How do I repair my tools? With the repair station. Oh, so I gotta build a repair station. Well, let me see what repair station takes to build. But what I'm finding that's required to grow, I don't have it yet, do I? No, I don't. So I wonder who you get the repair station from. Maybe the repair station's in town, question mark? What I've found that's important for growth is looking at how I'm interacting with people, because that's where I think my weaknesses are. You know, and it's the interaction with your family that seems to be, for me, the most informative, right?
You just walk in my car.
Where I learn the most, because with your family, they're most honest with you. And unless they're trying to hurt you maliciously or something and they're not being truthful. But in my case, I have people around me that love me and I love them. And when we have negative experiences, my ability to evaluate the situation when a negative experience happens and see where I can improve helps my relationships overall. Did my pickaxe get repaired? I'm confused because it's not damaged at all again. Or did I upgrade it? I don't know that I upgraded it. Maybe I repaired it? No, I didn't have a repair station. Let's go over to the forge in town, and maybe that's where the repair station is. I wonder if Gandhi's written any books. Because I think he was a monk, or like a Buddhist or something like that, wasn't he? Question mark? I mean, there's things about Buddhism that I don't know that I agree. I mean, I don't know. It starts to lose me when they start talking about what happens after this, you know, after life, because I don't know that anybody knows what happens after life. But that's where they start to lose me. But I like what they say about afterlife. That's pretty cool. I mean, I like the idea of being able to come back and try again, and like it's the only, you know, game in town kind of thing. Life is the only game in town. You want to come back as a bug? Come back as a bug. You want to come back as an alien on some other planet in another solar system? Come back as another alien. Like, it feels like that could be a thing. I mean, I can see where the rationalization is, but I don't know. I don't know that I can... There's no way to prove it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Yet. With another recipe. Wow, okay. Thanks, man. Slow down arrow. Cool. Flare arrow. Let your friends know where you are with these damaging free arrows that emit randomly coloring lights. I don't know if I need those yet, but I do kind of like, I dig on the idea of the slow arrow. Yeah, Easy had a, oh geez, it was a purple axe. Like, I don't know what the, Superior maybe? That was pretty cool. Like full-grown trees, whack, 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 3 hits, done. I think it was 3 hits. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot. Follow Teo's trail. Let's go to Hadu. I think that's his name, Hadu. Or Haru, or Haru, or... how long have I been streaming? Yeah, I'm probably going to get off here shortly, because I need to go make myself some food, and I don't want to push myself too hard. Whoa! Yo! It actually triggered the glider underwater. That's a funny thing. Sure, if I can fly to the other side. Sure, I can. Ah, I'm gonna fall into the water. I wanted to do a quick bit of fishing. How do I get a repair station? Is it a part of the quest line? It's okay, Fishy. You can be feisty, but you're coming with me. I guess I would have to say, I guess one of the things that I guess I want to say like I'm learning, or that I'm not too keen on. I mean, I'm grateful for, you know, in humanity, that for my ability to grow as a human. You know, and that if I do honestly open my heart to change, it can happen. Regardless of how slow it goes. And I guess it doesn't really matter how slow it goes, so long as it goes. You know, that's important to me, is the fact that it goes. Oh, I'm tracking the wrong person. I'm like, here. I just want it to go. That's all that matters. I mean, I like the idea of growing as an individual. Whether it be through a skill that you cultivate, or a personal skill, or an emotional skill, or emotional maturity, or your ability to love someone that, you know, is mean to you, or got some great crops coming in. Oh, cool. And I've got your nose. Well, okay then. Can you give me back, watermelon man? I say watermelon because it looks like this is a watermelon. I'm just looking around, but you know what? Not a joke. Gardening. I'm very serious when I garden, but by the looks of it, you are too. I've got a new recipe. You want to check it out? For sure. Soil. Place in your yard to expand your gardening capabilities. So, like, how did I get the garden to begin with? Did I use a hoe and just make it? Hey, that's a seed collector. EZ had a seed collector.
Thanks for stopping by.
Wait, what? No, I wanted to get other things.
Let us do our best.
I need to actually sell something. Can I sell him Sweet Leaf? Like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, if I have something that you think you can use, like Sweet Leaf or whatever else, don't be afraid to ask me. I'm more than willing to share. I mean, to a degree, like, I want to be able to progress in the game and do some things, but, like, I'm willing to share. I don't mind. You know, I run around and pick things up all the time, so farming isn't a big thing for me. I mean, it's no big deal because I'll go do it anyway, regardless. I got a new watering can.
Let's make like bananas and peel out. Can I help you out?
They say he's clingy, but he keeps walking away from me. Can I sell any of this stuff? No, I don't think I can sell any of this. So, before I continue on with that, I'm going to go up to town and get rid of some of my stuff. Or maybe better yet, what I should do is go to my house. And do that and drop everything off there. Well, that's good. It's staying watered, so that's nice. Well, it's like even the cartoons that I grew up on are violent. You know, like the Looney Tunes and stuff, and the Bugs Bunny, and, you know, the Hunter, and shoot, like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, and it's interesting, like, what we used to think was okay back then, but what's okay now. Like, We have so many societal changes that we've gone through. It's interesting to watch humanity evolve as a society or as a group, like how certain things like political correctness have come into play, whereas they never were there before. I'm confused. How come I can't? There we go. Hey, there's my honey. 10 focus. I like the fact that they put an overflow item type thing in the game. So, like, I don't lose things that won't fit into my inventory. I don't know what cotton's used for, but maybe it's used for creating clothing. I thought that, did I talk to Hassan and give him the fur that he wanted? Maybe I didn't get fur. I got hides, but I didn't get fur. I think the Chihuahua or something like that have fur. The pine cone is placeable. I don't really know what to do with the pine cone. I'll keep the honey with me because it has focus. The repair kit, I don't have the table yet. Put that away, put that away, put that away, put sweet leaf away, put the cotton away. Sapwood, let's put that away. I'll put the hides away. I know I have fur somewhere. I thought. Question mark. Yeah.
God damn it.
So if your screen ever does this, where it goes into windowed mode, hit Alt-Enter, and it'll open it back up into full screen mode. So Alt-Enter will change it back to windowed mode, and then Alt-Enter will flip it back and forth, usually. Seems like it's acting a little wonky right now. Yeah, it's supposed to be actually triggering, but whatever. No items found. Please try again. Why would it like act like there's no items? So I got my Sternic hides. I don't need my hides. Don't need my ore. I want to keep my food around because like it seems important to make sure my focus stays high and I keep getting experience. I want to sell the fishies, but maybe I should hold on to them? Question mark. Cotton seeds. We'll put those away for now. I'm gonna sell the fish. And then we'll cook some fishies maybe. So okay, so I'm a little confused. Like, no, I didn't cook fishies. I want to cook meat. There we go. Put my fishies away. So I get why Easy had 2 fire pits. That's for sure. Can I sit here and do the fire pit at the same time? No. Maybe I should use the bench closer, or move it closer, I mean. I don't know. As I get older, and I'm noticing that in certain things I'm more grateful. I like the feeling of gratitude. You know, I think it comes from appreciating what you have. You know, because I've had so much of it taken away with my physical and mental illnesses. And I don't want that to happen anymore. And really what it seems to boil down to a degree is my ego. You know, I like to think of myself as X, Y, and Z. You know, but I have learned that I am nobody special. And I also believe that in fatalism, you know, there's really not, I think there's not a whole lot you can do to change the trajectory of your life. Wherever your life is meant to go is where it's going to go. You don't really have control over where it goes. Though we think we do, I don't believe we actually do. As in, you know, because with me and my business, you know, I was meant to get sick. I was meant to meet the people I was meant to meet, and I was meant to go through the experiences I was meant to go through. Now, it feels like I have free will because I can make choices and stuff, but I believe all that's predestined. Boom. Like in the Matrix, I'm just sort of here to learn why I made the choices I made. So it's like the next beautiful soul can come through and say, maybe I'll try being Shane this time around. Or maybe I'm here to be, Bob or Joe or, or Robert. Maybe time is only a construct of the human experience or this reality, this universe. Maybe outside of this universe, there is no time. You know what was interesting? They found the God particles or God particle. Science believes they found the God particle. And what I mean by that is there's like this. How does it work? Hold on, let me think if I can explain it. I'm probably going to butcher this idea, but so there's this filament, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? And these particles, they interact with this filament. So you get all these particles that interact with this filament, and in some particles are able to acquire mass the more they interact with the filament. So they'll end up creating mass, or as an example, i.e. a finger, an arm, water, earth, or space, dark matter, all these things, right? Like all that's known in the known universe, the mass that's associated with the known universe. Some particles pass freely through the filament and don't pick up mass, particles of mass. They don't grow, they don't become a mass. So there are some particles that'll go through it, and there are some particles that actually, get weighted down and become mass. They believe, or they're calling it the God particle, because without this filament, mass wouldn't exist. So therefore life wouldn't exist. We wouldn't exist, universe wouldn't, I mean, like the moon wouldn't exist, light wouldn't exist, like all these things wouldn't exist because, well, is it light mass? Mass is light. Light. I don't think light. Maybe light doesn't apply to there, but like I'm just speaking rhetorically, like water and potentially atoms, that make up metals or or things in the universe. So they're calling it the God particle or whatever. I'm not a scientist. I don't really understand it to the fullest degree, but that was the general idea that I got from it. Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I walking this way? Did I have a trajectory in mind? Did I have a reason why I was heading in this direction to begin with? Huh? How did I get here and not know why I came here? Aw. Why don't I remember? Hassan. Wow, that took way too long. I need to eat. I think my blood sugar is really low. Where did Hassan go? I don't see him walking the grounds or nothing. Probably asleep, I would imagine. No. Do the city folk, do they like wander from zone to zone too? Are they not isolated to this specific zone? No. I don't know. I don't get it. So Hassan somehow popped off the universe, and maybe his particles changed, and he's no longer he's no longer there. He's no longer mass. Well, since I can't find Hassan, I suppose I can move on to the next, I guess, thing. I guess the thing that strikes me as interesting is like, why is it all here? Is life the point? I would imagine life is the point, right? It's without it, there's nothing to observe what's here. So it makes you think like, well, so okay, I don't know if you're familiar with how light works. Like the act of observing something changes the result. I don't know if you know that. In science, they've come up with this reality where they understand that, like, light, as an example, when you look at it, it'll change into a wave or a particle. I can't remember what comes first. I think it's particle then wave. But my point is that if you're not observing it, it does one thing. When you look at it, just by looking at it, it does something completely different. And only by observing it does it change. Like the observation changes the outcome, which I find to be pretty amazing, right? So it's like we have this universe, but if
Not
nobody's
today,
there to
boys,
observe it,
Not today. The stone is closed.
you know what I mean? What's the point of the universe? If life is not there to experience itself, or if it's God or whatever, I mean, even if God was there, if we're not there to observe it and give it meaning, I don't know. I mean, it just seems kind of...
Just killing like 5 people within that lifespan, altering the fate in that game.
It seems kind of out there, like my brain can't wrap around it properly. It's kind of like I'm a three-dimensional being trying to figure out what fourth dimension means. Or something like that. You know, I mean, something in that kind of, that vein or whatever. Like quantum mechanics is quite interesting, and the quark and how like certain elements can pop in and out of existence. Like you might be going one way, and then it'll pop out of existence, and it'll reappear going a different direction. And it almost makes me wonder if that dynamic of the I don't want to say it's an atom. I think it's like a quark. I mean, I think the quark is the term. But it's almost like it's in a state of flux until something acts upon it and changes it. Is that maybe the connection to manifest destiny? Like if you believe something, it happens? Because there's a lot of like, hey, I manifested my destiny. I believe that I would heal, so therefore I have healed. When I would dream, and I don't know if you've ever had lucid dreams. Lucid dreaming is where you wake up in your dream while you're sleeping, realize you're sleeping, and then therefore can control your dream. It is one of the most amazing experiences. I'll be honest with you, if I could lucid dream for the rest of my existence on this planet, I would probably do that. Because that is where my life feels like it's at its greatest, where I'm the most happy. Except when I have scary dreams, like I've lucid dreamed fighting demons. I almost feel like I have fought off dying a couple of times through lucid dreaming. But I do not believe that you can die in your dream and then die in reality, because I've done that. I've fallen, died in my dream, and then woken up later. It's not that big a deal. Like, it doesn't, I don't think it'll kill you. Now, are there instances where it could? I don't know. But for me, it didn't happen. But, I love lucid dreaming. Oh, it is such an amazing experience. Like, I would like to be, I mean, just being alive and lucid dreaming would be the whole point. I mean, I could just see it being the reason to be alive for at least one, you know, like for those experiences like that, because it's so cool. Like I've been able to fly in my dreams. I've been able to breathe underwater in my dreams. It's quite an experience. Like I've shot fire out of my hands and frost bolts and all that stuff. Like Mortal Kombat, you know, like Frozone in Mortal Kombat, or you know, I don't know, like Brand in League, you know, I don't know. I loved it. It was so nice. I just if I could lucid dream every night, I would. It is such a special thing. The thing I dislike the most about dreaming, even in lucid dreams, is the inability to run. Like, for whatever reason, you feel like you're running in quicksand. You're like, and you're trying to run and you're just going nowhere. So, like, one of the experiences that I had while I was dreaming, and I almost wonder, and I kind of like speculate, I wonder if this could be a thing, where I feel like I fought off death in my dream, is that I went to sleep and a deity paid me a visit. Something stronger than me. I wouldn't say God, wouldn't say, you know, Satan or any of the archangels, because I don't know that I don't think I believe in any of that. But something that had the ability to end my existence. I became aware of its presence, or it was like it was there sitting at a card table, and you could just feel its power emanating from it. That it could just wipe you out of existence. And it was kind of like that experience, like you're like when I realized it, it was like, yes sir, no sir, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to mess with this thing, right? Like you just didn't want to mess with it. And it visited me in my dream, and it was sitting at a table, and then I sat in front of it and we were talking. And he was talking about some weird ass shit, like stuff that I didn't even know what he was talking about. Like it's just like I wasn't paying attention to him because I was too busy being afraid of him or it. But I thought to myself, if that ever happened again, like after I woke up and I experienced the dream from my reality of being awake, I was like, if that ever happens again, I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to be the alpha in that experience, and it's not going to hold any power over me because I just didn't like it. It was that eerie that I was unwilling to allow that experience to happen again. So I didn't know that he could see the fishing hole that I was in. Does he now get to the fishing hole too, or does he lose the fishing hole because I got the fishing hole before he did? I don't know. So anyways, back to the dream. So I was having a dream, and then this car drove up in my driveway, and it was coming up my driveway. I think there was a female in the passenger seat. Let me think for a second. Yeah, there was a female in the passenger seat who was immaterial to the dream, right? Like she had no interaction into the dream. And the way that I recognized that the being had come back for a second time, it was in the driver's seat. And I felt the power. Now it wasn't as strong as the original being that visited me in my first dream, but I didn't respect its power either, because I had determined that if this happened again, this is my world, you're just living in it, kind of a thing. And its eyes lit up, and it was on fire. Its eyes were on fire, and it was, and I immediately recognized it as being that entity. And it was in the car, and then it was turning like up my driveway, and then it like somehow it ended up past my gate. And it looked at me, and I saw it in its eyes. And I was like, okay, it's go time. And immediately I manifested a bat in my hand, and I went running at it, and I started wailing on it and hitting the car, hitting its face, like I was attacking it with everything I had. And it kind of polymorphed out of the car and into like a spectral form. And immediately I backed up, and I believed in my ability to protect myself. And so what I did is it's kind of, you've ever watched Green Lantern, where in Green Lantern he has the ability to conjure up different things. Like he could conjure up anything he could imagine. And I believed that I had the ability. So as it was coming at me, trying to attack me, I put up a shield of some sort, and I said, no, this is impenetrable, and you cannot come any further. And it could not. It could not reach me. And through that that shield that I had put up between me and it, I was able to attack it with my fingers, like almost like Wolverine, where I had like I was able to control them with the length of my fingers. Like my fingers and everything became malleable, and I was able to create spikes, and I was pushing spikes through its chest. And as it was coming at me, I jumped backwards, and it was still following at me, but it couldn't get past my shield. And I kept stabbing it in the chest with my fingers, you know, trying to kill it, to get it away from me or whatever. And as I was waking up, I was waking myself up to remove myself from the situation. Like, apparently I have the ability to wake myself up in a lucid dream. And so I started waking myself up, and I remember it just kind of like phasing out as its face was like it was trying to come at me, but it couldn't get past my shield, and I was just phasing out, going backwards, and I was watching it just sort of fade away as I woke up. And then the fight was over, and it hasn't been back since. Nor do I think it wants to come back. Because I think it realizes that I have strength that it can't break. But I believe we have those kinds of abilities. Like in your dreams, you can control those things with lucid dreaming and whatnot. So I don't know if it was real, but it felt real enough, you know, to where I was like, okay, well, that happened, kind of a thing. We're about 128. I don't know that I should continue much further. I don't want to make things too much worse for myself. I get into like these cathartic moods where it's like, I don't know, I guess rambling on and on and on about stuff sort of helps me. So when I get into these moods, like I don't feel like getting off, because in a way that with me talking to myself, so to speak, and I don't know if anybody's honestly out there listening, I don't pay attention to any Twitch, you know, counters or anything like that. So I found that to be too emotionally disturbing for me. So I just don't even bother paying attention. So I just think that I'm talking to myself, and if people just happen to be there, I guess it's okay. But with my social anxieties, it triggers me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, you know, not worry about it. Like, turn all those metrics off. Don't even pay attention to it. You know, and then when somebody says hi or talks to me, then I'm pleasantly surprised. Sometimes I'm terrified because, like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, there's people out there, you know? But, I don't know. Life is weird. But, you know, if, like, because I do have a lot of medical issues, like, if my time comes, there's nothing I can do about it, right? And I guess I'm just grateful that I'm reaching a place in my life where gratitude is becoming a prominent feeling in my life rather than despair. I've spent 6 years in a world of despair without my ability to do things. Like, I've been basically a prisoner of my own home, a prisoner of my body, and my body has been a torture device every day. The levels of pain that I have experienced, I didn't think you could experience without dying. And it's unraveled my reality in many ways and on a regular basis without my permission.
Yeah, the axe members don't do anything.
Mainly because the pain becomes so intense that you can't, like, I believe that everybody has a threshold. Once you reach that threshold of pain, your ability to rationalize existence goes away, and why you're here and everything. A lot of clay. And I think I'm experiencing lag because I'm pressing the button and it just seems like it wants to keep lagging out. And like, it's not, like, I can't hold the mouse button and keep, you know, mining. I would really like a boat, man. It would just be so nice to just paddle out onto that lake and just fish. Oh, I really hope they bring boats into the game. That'd be sweet. But then again, but they would have to make it layered based on individual gameplay, right? Like, I wouldn't want to see 50 or 100 boats out there fishing. You know, maybe like 3 would be nice, but then again, I don't know that I'd want to see anybody. I think it would be kind of cool to just be out there by myself fishing. So, like, the ability to have layers, like World of Warcraft has a layered experience, you know, where it's like this experience to the game only interacts with you and not with everybody else. I mean, how do I say that? Like, it's individualized experiences for every person. So, like, when you do something and interact with the environment, it changes, but it doesn't change for everybody, just you. Until they do whatever it is that created that interactional change. Oh, ho, 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 ho. I think I would have come really close to getting him.
Yes, yeah.
What a beautiful game. Oh, look at them. Chapua. Chapua. Well, he kind of like walked into that, didn't he? I'm eager to find out what this game has to offer further down the line. But I'm glad that I'm not obsessed about it. Like, I have an addictive personality where I'll like do something obsessively and all in or nothing kind of experience. But I don't feel that way about this game. Oddly enough, I think I only play the game when I stream for the most part. It's not as enjoyable when I play by myself. I kind of dig on the glider, you know, if you use it right, but the reality is I feel like they could have done a better job of making it a glider experience. Like, I've been a hang glider pilot for over 30 years. I still know how to fly, but I haven't flown in like 5 or 6 years due to my medical illnesses. I flipped a 4-wheeler on my chest and had a major chest compression injury. And I think I have my rib cages are kind of jacked up, and I think flying would potentially damage my ribs more. So I've been afraid to fly. Plus acid reflux and all that stuff. And when you lay down, it like makes it a lot worse. Your esophagus starts to hurt quite a bit. So it's like you almost want to be upright as much as possible. I've been forced now to sleep in a chair, like a recliner, on a regular basis, so I don't even get to sleep in a bed anymore, which is not fun. I mean, I don't know, like I wasn't all that comfortable in my bed to begin with, but it would have been nice to be able to have the choice anyway. Oh man, I'm starting to feel really bizarre, like I need to get some food in me. I'm just trying to decide what I want to make. Probably be oatmeal. I've learned how to make a mean bowl of oatmeal. I think I'm gonna throw like what I'll do is I'll throw some oats in there. I'll throw some milk, and cook it on low until it soaks into the oatmeal. And then while it's cooking, have some raisins in there. And then when you pull it out, you mix it. If you like coconut oil, you mix up probably about a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon of coconut oil in it, depending on how like coconutty you like it. And then once you do that, you splash a little bit of milk on it afterwards, and throw some honey in there. I don't know if you've ever had milk and honey, but man, is that ever good! Oh, if I could drink milk and honey like all day long, I probably would. It's just so good. I always thought it was just some reference from the Bible. Oh, milk and honey, you know what I mean? But but no, it's really good. Milk and honey is amazing. So is peanut butter and honey. I don't think I can track him. Got him! Oh, he took it! Yeah! Yeah! He thought he got away, but it wasn't meant to be. Yeah, my legs and pelvic floor are destroyed. I'd like to kind of go build that new watering can, though. That would be nice. Let me go do that, and then I think I'm going to get off. $72 arrows. Well, I don't have to worry about running out anytime soon. Oh, man, I flinched. Like, I twitched. It's like the sniper who didn't hold his breath when he shot. There we go. Hold your breath when you shoot. Like, well, at least it helped with the first one. Apparently, these are an invasive species. They're not natively, and they're invasive species in the Palia. Did I actually hit him and he ran? I don't know. You may not know this, but if you shoot them quick enough before they go in the ground, you can actually catch them before they, get underground. Anyway, returning home. What time is it? It's definitely bedtime. Fish, 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 fish. So I thought I heard that they had aquariums and terrariums in the game, but I haven't figured out how to make them. I want to keep the meats because I want to make food out of them. Whoa, striped chapa tail. I don't know if I can use that. Like anything that's highly valuable, I get rid of. I put in my storage because I don't know if it's valuable. Like, I mean, for something else, like something that you can build into something that you want. Crystal Lake Lotus can go. I think that can go. I love you too. Sleep well. Yeah, me too. I hope that for you as well. I think honey should give you more than 10 focus, but maybe there's something you can do with honey that gives you more. Whoa, that went all the way up. Whoa, that's a huge tree. How big does it get? Wow, that got huge. Oh yeah, I'm officially starving now. I am hungry. Ooh. I'm not going to do the rest of them because I got the watering can I want to make. I bought the watering can. I'm almost certain of it. Copper bars, right? Couple of copper bars. Coming right up. Sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to lean my foot on you so hard. We'll make the iron ore. No? Clay and or stone. Let's use stone. Well, that's going to take a half a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just go and put my oatmeal on the stove and while that's cooking.
Mixed it up last second.
Hey, babe. That bag in your room really stinks. You might not want to leave it in there and close that door. Doing that, I gagged. I didn't know they smelled so bad. One that you put in the trash bag is not me.
helping my wife out with something. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back for a half a second here while the food cooks and everything, and then once it's done, I'm gonna get going. So I wanted to take a second and I don't know, for lack of a better word, kind of summarize, what I'm trying to do here. It's like I have all these digestive issues and all these medical issues, and life gets really difficult, right? It gets extremely hard for me. I get really down in the mouth about stuff. I feel it's horrible on a regular basis, and I don't know how to deal with it most of the time. It breaks my mental on a regular basis. I feel depleted. I suffered through extreme exhaustion on a regular basis. Some of it's that I can't sleep because of the acid reflux or other things that are keeping me up. And I get despondent, and then I get really alone, and then I get scared, and then things, seem to go sideways, and it's just, in some ways I feel like I overshare, which is a thing, because I'm an open book, but on the same token, like, if something I say helps somebody else, then it's important to me. Like, if it ever helps anybody, let me know, so that at least I can feel like someone was positively affected by what I've gone through, and when I speak about people in my life, I'm never trying to speak negatively about them. I'm only speaking about them because they just happen to be in my life and it's a part of my story. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. But it's the things that I talk about are they're relevant for what I'm talking about and what I go through. And as an example, like with my parents, I do love my parents, and I'm not trying to bash them or anybody else that I talk about, but you can't share your life without sharing those experiences with those people. I could make it anonymity, and not say anything about it, but then I don't think the full breadth of what I'm trying to convey will be conveyed, or for that matter, anything that, like, as an example, when I talk about my mom's alcoholism, for example, yeah, she's no longer an alcoholic. She's worked past that, and she's been one of the most amazing supporters of my disease. She's been there for me, rock solid, all the way through it. And I can't tell you how grateful I am. And she's definitely a positive force in my life, and those negatives are no longer there. But the reason I share those things is because it's important for people to be there for their children, to create a safe and stable environment so that the kids feel like they're they're not struggling for your attention, or they're not struggling to get the basic needs of life, of safety, to feel safe in their environment so that they can grow up well-adjusted people, and um, the lack of rules, I guess, or the lack of involvement from my parents, and then the overcorrection by my father, it's because he was way too strict, and he stripped away a lot of my ability to um, like, I have self-esteem issues, and I believe they're directly related to his involvement. So it's like, huh? No, you're fine. Your comments are welcome. Yeah, like, my wife is saying that I didn't have the self-esteem issues before he took me, right? Like, I didn't. So if you believe in Christianity, this isn't a knock against you, okay? Nothing I say is to knock anybody else, or to hurt you, or to challenge your belief systems, but it doesn't work for me. And I don't have a very positive outlook on Christianity. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm probably end up talking about it anyway at some point. Let me know, and I'll share all my feelings with you about it. But it created a sense of self-esteem issues because I became introspective and then judged myself partially based on, you're welcome, I love you, all the Christianic rules and this kind of thing, and it kind of devastated my self-esteem. And then on top of that, it made me feel like I was a piece of crap because they talk about original sin, and things like that, where I'm just a piece of crap and I needed somebody to die on a cross for me to even be worthy of anything in life. And those kinds of implications into an impressionable child, because I went through Christianity at the age of 11 to like 18. Like, I was super hardcore Christian, studied every day. My God revolved around everything I thought and did. And there's a lot of logical misgivings in Christianity, where it's that I don't agree with, like, and there's no way for them to explain those misgivings. And I don't want to get too deep into it, but if you ever want to know, I'll tell you. We can talk in depth about it, and I'll share my experiences, only because to give you a perspective, right? But I feel like it damaged me more than it helped me. And then, with my father's oppressive behavior, that also damaged me and made it so that I couldn't protect myself in sensitive situations, where I was basically to be seen and not heard. And between my mom not being there for me when I was younger, and my dad not wanting to be a father and be nurturing because he didn't have a father. So it wasn't necessarily, like, we're a byproduct of what happens to us when we're kids. And my dad tries to tell me, he tries to separate that stuff and tell me, well, your past doesn't matter. Now you're an adult. You need to make, better choices. But the reality is those past experiences shape how you think about the world and how you interact with the world. And it's not easy to remove them and make clear choices, because the way you've processed the world has been shaped by it. So despite that I'm not a Christian anymore, I still have a lot of the same Christian, I don't want to say morality, because I had a good moral system before it happened, but I was a good person before I met my dad and got Christianity and all that stuff. But the reality behind it is it shapes how you see the world. And then on top of that, like, I'll give you a short example, and then I'm gonna probably get going. I don't know if you ever heard of the story Job in the Bible. Job was a servant of God, and Satan was walking around on the earth trying to see who he could mess with, right? And he was bored, and he went to God, and he had an audience with God, and he's just talking with him like as if like he just popped over at God's house and said, hey, what's up, God? You know, I'm going around trying to mess with people and everything, but I'm bored, or kind of a thing. You know, that's the way I took it. And he goes, well, have you considered my servant Job? And you know, Christianity has been presented to me as a place of safety. But when the God that is there to protect you offers you up to Satan so that you can be basically tested and tried in the manner that Job was, he lost his family. Like Satan killed his family, killed his kids. He turned his wife against him because of all the things that had happened in his life. He took away all of his possessions. He became destitute. Like he was a prominent figure, and he lost everything, even his own health, right? And then because he came back to God, and you know his faith had wavered and he came back to God, all of a sudden now God had rewarded him with tenfold everything that he had lost. I lost my son at the age of 23. He died in my arms. He basically drowned on his own fluid in his lungs because his heart wasn't strong enough to pump it out. So this story has particular relevance in my life. And so it the way I hear that story is that God let Satan kill my son, or maybe God killed my son, whoever, and then therefore um, has basically taken my life and ruffle stomped me ever since I left Christianity. And it creates this intense anger inside of me that I have a hard time getting past. I want to believe in something greater than myself. And if God exists, that would be amazing, because it would be awesome to have something of a deity that has your back. But Christianity doesn't portray God as having your back. He portrays it as like, well, I'll just offer you up as a for whatever reason, right? And so now it's like even Christianity doesn't hold any kind of sense of protection for me. Emotionally, it doesn't offer any comfort as to what's going to happen after I'm gone. And I sit here in this and stew in all my medical issues, and it has created a lot of paradoxes in my life that have damaged my life. I personally think Christianity was created by man. I think the impression of God is also created by man. Because I think God, like, they don't portray God to be morally better than humans. And if I don't think I can believe in a creator that's not morally superior to me. And if God can succumb to the lowest impulses of humanity and treat even the people he professes to love that are in his circle the way he did Job, that's not very reassuring to me. I don't take it as a parable of comfort. But the long story short is that nothing I say is meant to hurt anybody, especially the people that are in the stories that I talk about. I'm just sharing my experiences of life and what I'm going through, and for some reason it seems to help me. Like, I have social anxiety. It's very difficult for me to share, to interact with people, and not have all these weird hangups about social interactions. And so as an example, like when somebody might say hi to me on the stream or something, sometimes I get scared and sometimes I get excited. I crave being in a communal setting socially, but have no idea how to interact in a social setting. And then because of the challenges that go along with that, it wears me out, and then I become erratic and incapable of keeping myself in a social situation. Like I have to remove myself from it. So if we're ever hanging out at any point, or I decline to hang out, it's not that it has anything to do with you. It has everything to do with me, because maybe I can't handle it properly at the time, or maybe I'm not feeling like I have the strength to properly deal with, or not deal with, but positively interact with you. So it's kind of a bizarre paradox, right? And so if it comes across as like it hurts you in any way, it's not intended to. So if it triggers you, it's not intended to. I'm only trying to share so that you have perspective and hopefully can walk forward with a little bit more knowledge on how you might be able to dictate your life. And what that means is if you look at me, if not at the very least, if you look at me and go, God, I don't want to be that person, I don't want to be like that person, then I'll consider that a win. Because you looked at me and realized that there was something that you didn't want or didn't like about my life, and you worked to change it so that it's not in your life. If that makes any sense. My intentions behind what I say are good. They're not bad. They're not bad in any way towards anybody and anything that's they're involved. Sometimes I don't know how to rationalize my existence because of everything I go through. So seeking out people in social situations like this help me not to feel so alone, because I feel alone a lot, and I go through a lot of terror and being alone, and then also being sick. I feel incredibly guilty for some of the stories that I've shared about my parents, but on the same token, I'm not intending it in a vindictive and destructive manner. I believe that had they been more attentive to me and cared more about how things, and I can't say even cared because, you know, they loved me, but, well, my dad said I don't know how to love him to my mom. He couldn't just be there and just love me. It took him a long time, I think, when I look back at it, for him to be able to show compassion and love towards me, to feel like there was this closeness with him. And it took us going hang gliding every day, every weekend, to develop that relationship, right? But the relationship was only based on the way that he defined my reality by what he allowed me to be, if that makes any sense. Not that I didn't enjoy it. Once I finally accepted that I didn't have a choice in the matter, it got easier, right? And then we were hanging out like buddy buddy, and he was my mentor, so to speak. Growing up, he was my spiritual teacher. I guess I just feel as I've gotten older, let down by who I realized he was, and that and it's based on the things that he went through and how he processes the world. What? Oh, my wife's telling me not to burn my oatmeal. I'll be right back. I've done that like twice today, or in the last 2 days. I'll be right back. Uh-huh. You know, and it's not out of the realm of the possibility that maybe I can learn from you. You know, I don't, my intentions aren't to hurt anybody, you know, especially my parents. But if my dad knew I was sharing all this information, he'd lose his shit. He's a very private person. But he doesn't decide for me what my story is, nor does he have the right to. And I'm not doing it to hurt him. And that's the difference. And I'm just grateful because I've been a hurtful person. Like I'm not a physical person. I've been in a few fights in my life. I think I've spanked my son maybe like 3 times in his entire life. Um, but I have hurt the people around me with words, and I haven't been the most pleasant person to be around, especially when I've been sick. Like when you're sick, that bubbles up over onto everybody around you, including yourself. You know, and it forces you to really figure out who you are, because when you're suffering in such extreme amounts of pain that it unravels your world on a regular basis, I felt like for a long time I'm a rabid dog pinned into a corner, just trying to figure out how to move forward in my life because I suffer so much in pain. But as I was mentioning earlier, I'm grateful that I'm still capable of change and that I want to change and I want to grow. You know, and the reason I'm more a fatalist now and believe that things are what they are and they were never meant to be anything else, you know, that it gives me comfort because believing in a God that is testing me just because I'm alive and just because I exist, because he did something magical for me, like send his son to die for me when I didn't ask him to, or trying to convince me that I'm at fault and that I'm a piece of crap and that I'm not worthy of anything because I was born into existence, is inappropriate information to dump into a child's brain. You don't know how damaging that is to the psyche of a child that needed love and attention growing up, that craved the love of his father. You know, the way that my dad brought me into Christianity, he basically told me is if you don't believe you're going to hell, you're going to burn in a lake of fire and brimstone. I'm like, okay, man, sign me up, bro. I don't want to go to fire. I don't want to die in hell and like rotten in this fiery brimstone shit. You know, and it's like the more that I've grown up, the more the Christianic God seems more like a tyrant than a loving creator. But the reality is if I'm such a bad person, he created me. Like he made me, but yet he's disgusted with his creation. And so much so that he had to send his son, whom he obviously created, to die for my sins. I didn't ask him to do that. That doesn't feel like something I want to be a part of. You know, I don't want to be a part of a God that does those kinds of things. That's incredibly hurtful. And then somehow, in this small 80-year window, when life is hard enough, when life is at its hardest, somehow I have to figure out how to deal with this existential war between God and one of his creations, the devil. Isn't that a little bizarre? Like, I only get 80 years on this earth if I'm lucky. And I have to somehow figure out how to deal with all of that. So, if it does exist, and God does exist, and Christianity is real, the best thing that I feel like I can do, because I don't agree with it, is to say that none of them get my soul. Don't believe in God, don't believe in Satan. You know? The problem is, if you follow Christianity devoutly, it brings about a sense of peace and connectiveness, that you're doing what God wants you to do, what created you. You know what I mean? You're following their will, and it brings about this amazing sense of connection to God. And I know why people believe in it, and I understand that we're all afraid of what happens after this life. But this is my dilemma, and it's so ingrained in me that I don't know that I'll ever be able to believe in a God like that. Speaking of medical issues, I have to run away. I'll be back in a minute. I'm not trying to hide this stream and make it something that it isn't. I've streamed it before. I've done it for 3 years. And I'm not interested in trying to prove to the world that I can play a video game better than anybody else. I don't have the energy or to pander to people, but you'll get my honest opinion, and I'll be truthful with you as best that I know truth. And it certainly isn't to hurt you or anyone else, but I do care about other people. And when I talk about God, in as far as creation and all, Christianity and all that, that's my hangups. I'm telling you what my hangups are. I'm not telling you what to believe or what you should or shouldn't do. In fact, if Christianity is what makes you happy, oh, I'm so grateful you found it. Because we all feel like we all need something to help us in some way or another. It feels, they say being a Christian is hard, but I don't think it's harder than knowing what the Bible says about people that leave Christianity and try to live their lives without it and all the damage that it's done to them. I don't think I'll ever have a healthy relationship or healthy mentality about God and everything that happens after life. But I do feel this. If God is real, I don't think he's the way we think he is. I don't believe that he's some entity that's out there, judging us and just waiting for us to screw up and then trying to save us from our own misery in the respect that, he creates the sin in you and then forgives the sin in you. He created the sinner, but then forgives the sinner. Why create the sinner to begin with? Why would you put a being in that position to begin with? It feels a little like hurtful. It doesn't feel loving. I believe that a God, if they do exist, or it does exist, loves us unconditionally. So much so that it birthed life to give us experience. Experiential experience, experiential, situations where we can contemplate, we can be, we are I. I don't think it lowers itself to human impulse, the lowest side of humanity. I think it's more evolved than that. But with all that being said, please take care of your health. Please learn how to feed yourself. And if you have any questions, I've learned a few things. I'm more than willing to share. And if you're an expert already in, food, please help me because I want to know more. Like I feel like like I've been starving for the information to understand how to help myself. But maybe we can create a community here that is built on mutual understanding and compassion for each other. That we can understand that life is challenging and try to lift each other up instead of tear each other down. Create an environment where we can go and be ourselves and have fun. And not step on each other and not be reductive and reduce each other and not care about the other person because we are all we have. Inside of me and my soul is the same as yours. And I don't want to hurt that in you. Just as I would hope nobody wants to hurt that in me. But it's scary to think the way the world is going with the way how destructive everybody is becoming And I firmly believe it's because we're becoming more and more separated from each other. We're not talking to each other. The social distancing, the pandemic, all these things have separated us from each other, and they're making it really hard for us to connect. And I fear with my medical issues that I won't be around for very much longer unless something changes. And that scares me because I don't know what comes next. So I spend a lot of time in fear, especially when my wife goes to bed. And I don't have the assurances that most people that have faith in a belief system have. So I worry for you that you take care of yourself so that you can experience all that life has to offer and more, right? That you can feel like you've lived a fulfilled life because you didn't end up getting diabetes and then you lost your leg because you can't walk anymore. Now you got one leg, or anything else like that. And I think intuitively you'll know what the right things to do are. You just have to be willing to listen to your intuition. I ignored my intuition at every turn, it seems. You know, when my psyche was screaming at me to do one thing and I did another because of I was afraid to hurt this person or hurt that person, or I didn't want to come across this way or that way.
Fair enough.
Instead of just accepting the situation for what it was and choosing to protect myself, not maliciously to hurt anyone, but because it was the right decision for me. And that's what mattered, is that I chose myself to make sure that I protected myself and loved myself the way that I wasn't shown. So my life derailed because I didn't know what true love was and the nurturing aspect that love could bring. So my life derailed in a lot of ways. And I have a lot of mental illnesses associated to it. To this day, sometimes I question whether my mom has ulterior motives. I just talked to her today about it.
Different side.
But at least I'm getting to a point where I'm inquisitive when I see something that's becoming offbeat, that doesn't ring true for me. And I try to understand why it is what it is. If somebody says something weird to me that hurts me in a strange way that I can't identify, I'm inquisitive to the person and I talk to them about it. I'm not, hey, you piece of SOS and or whatever, and try to be hurtful. I'm more like, well, what happened? Why did you do that? What was the intention? Because intention is everything. If they didn't intend to hurt you, that's everything. But if they did, then you know what you need to do. You can figure out how to move forward.
Yeah, that makes
The answers become quite clear. It's just learning to trust that intuition in you. And that's important.
Makes sense.
And that gets stronger the more you choose yourself and follow your intuition.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but I can't dictate how you take what I say. All I can do is try to present what's inside of me in a way that rings true for me, and also in a way that isn't meant to be hurtful. It's meant to be informative and share so that you can see me and make better decisions for yourself. But anyways,
Yeah.
I'm going to get going. I'm going to finish my oatmeal. I'm going to relax a little bit. And it's getting pretty late over here, so I'm probably also going to go to sleep soon. And hopefully I get to go to sleep. Hopefully my medical issues don't keep me up too much later, because I haven't been falling asleep until about 4 or 5 in the morning. So I wish you the best. I hope you have a wonderful day, time, night, whatever time it is over there for you. And